6,000 happy customers. 303-761-6400. 761-6400. ExcelRoofing.com.
Excel Roofing, we're on top of it.
Radio advertising can connect your business with holiday shoppers wherever they go. Use iHeart Ad Builder to create an affordable custom radio ad right on your phone. Just click, listen, approve, then hear it on the radio. Create your customized ad today at iHeartAdBuilder.com.
All the benefits of IVs at your door. Rocky Mountain IV Medics. Hydration, immunosupport, migraines, general wellness. Call or text 720-987-2155. Rocky Mountain IV Medics. 720-987-2155.
All right, 303 Martino, 303-713-8255. You can always email us at live@troubleshooter.com. And guess what we have coming up, Tom?
What
They're
is
going to
it?
be able to text us. I'm getting all the info. They're going to be able to text us directly into the studio. I just got to get our logins.
Oh, that'll be great. That'll be great. Now, what about the issue with Gravina's? Until we get Ted on, I don't want to talk about it. I want to find out what Ted Rowland found. Suze, did you get the message to try to get Ted?
Ted's on a call. He's going to call me when he's
thanks.
off.
Okay, let's go then to someone else who's been waiting a while, and that's Jody. Hi, Jody. Welcome. What's happening, Jody?
Well, I'm just going to put some new things in my kitchen. And I'm wondering if you could tell me about counters. I know there's granite,
Yes.
quartz, and
Yes.
I can't remember. And then a stove and sink. I want to put a new stove and a new sink. And I'm thinking about stainless steel, but now there's something called stainless steel white. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Oh.
Listen, I hate stainless steel. Do you know, I think it looks good, but you know why I hate stainless steel? It's anything but stainless. They should call it smudgy, fingerprinted, worst steel ever. But they call it stainless. Where does that name come from? Now, if you get and I'm serious now, if you get stainless steel with a brushed finish, it's pretty cool. Now, Genesis Home Improvements, Genesis Total Exteriors, which does home improvements, he deals a lot with appliances. Do you agree on stainless? It's dreadful.
I mean, I have it at my house.
How do you keep it clean?
Just with the little scrubby blue pad, and it's good. I have no issues with it.
Do you have a brushed finish? Come on, man, it's not easy to clean.
Right, it's a brushed finish. Yes.
Okay, well, brush finish has a little grit to it. It's not that smooth stainless steel. It's maddening.
Yeah.
It's like being surrounded by mirrors in your
It scratches easy too. Once it scratches, and again, it's going to get scratched because you're washing your dishes.
I wanted to hire someone to come in with a wheel and wheel all my stainless. I'm serious.
Yeah, I've seen that done before. I've never.
It's really pretty, but okay. Bottom line is, go ahead with. I would go with anything but stainless, in my opinion. Anything.
Okay.
Now, as far as
right
the stones,
now I have a white sink, but I don't know what it is. It's just an old white sink.
Right, porcelain.
White stainless is, I think, what it's called. I mean, I think it's baked or something. I don't know what the finish is. Look it up, Mark. But I mean, I think it's just cool. It's really cool because it doesn't stain a lot.
And for the countertops, so she's asking marble or granite. I wouldn't do marble.
No, she's also asking quartz. Now, you have quartz and quartzite, and a lot of people make mistakes. Quartz and quartzite are not the same. Quartz is made from is a man-made material. And quartzite is a natural stone. Now, as far as granite, marble, quartz, or quartzite, they're all beautiful.
Yeah, but granite is so much more heat resistant. You can pull a hot pan right off of a stove and put it right on granite. You do that to marble, man, forget about it.
No, but you can do that with quartzite. With quartz, I mean. You can, listen. It's really what you like.
I don't know. Because I was reading about them, and it does say that one of them chips easily and stains easily. I mean, one chips easily, one stains easily.
I don't know of any that stain that easy.
One you can't put a hot surface on, and I don't know which. What about that quartzite?
Well, quartzite is natural stone. Quartzite is more expensive than quartz. Quartzite.
We almost always just put in quartz. That's what's the hottest thing.
Quartz is the hottest thing
the hottest thing right now. Some granite, but mostly all quartz right now.
See, granite can age the house a little depending on the grain. There are some classic granites that don't go out of vogue, and marble would be my last choice for countertops because it's softer.
Okay.
Granite is hard. Quartz is wonderful. I think, what kind of look are you going with? A more modern or a more classic?
Yeah. Well, just my house was built in 2020.
Okay, then I would go with quartz.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Your house was built last year and you're upgrading your kitchen?
No, I'm sorry. 2000.
Oh, okay.
2000,
Yeah, I would go with
old.
quartz. Now listen, what color cabinets do you have?
Well, I have like maple
Okay.
cabinets.
Okay.
I don't know.
Wood cabinets.
Does that make a difference?
Yeah, kind of. Listen, you're not going to go wrong with granite or quartz.
Okay.
I would avoid quartzite because if it's expensive, and quartz is every bit as good, and marble is just a little soft. I would go with quartz. If you're asking me, I would go with quartz.
Hey, I am asking you.
And you can get any color you want in quartz, right?
Oh, yeah. There's tons of colors. I mean, right now, everything, whites and grays are in. I mean, beiges are out. Whites and grays right now, beiges are out, but tomorrow it'll change.
But whites never go out. Do you know white kitchens, white cabinets, white counters have never gone out of style? They have changed, and other things have come in style, but they have never gone out, ever. Black kitchens have, and other colors have, but man, white, it'll pass the test of time.
Correct. I
Really?
agree.
I had black cabinets, white cabinets one time. They were a baked-on finish that were highly shine. It was a European cabinet. Oh, my God, were they beautiful. I mean, white cabinets and white countertops, you can never beat them. They'll never go out of style. That kitchen looks as new as it was, and it's still in style. If you go with dark woods, light woods, in-between woods, rustic, you run that risk. But you already have the cabinets, so that's great. Go with a quartz. Quartz won't.
And then what would you go with for sink if it was you?
I would go with white quartz and a white either quartz. Do they make a quartz sink or is it a stainless? Is it the white stainless?
I mean, I just looked up the white stainless. It just looks like a white sink, like a porcelain sink from the old days.
Yeah, but I think it's over stainless.
Right.
I really do.
Yeah.
I think it's made over a stainless
What would the benefit
basin.
of that be?
Well, it's the durability and flexibility of stainless, and then you have the finish. They make refrigerators that way too. I really think it's I don't know. It's just an easier way to keep it clean, in my opinion. But you have to go with what you want.
My last question is about the stove. Should I go with just a plain old white stove or the stainless white stove?
Well, okay, that's really up to you. Now, white stoves are steel with like an enamel, not an enamel, but like almost a porcelain, I don't know what they call it, over it, or they just have a baked-on finish. But whatever you do, go with the same thing throughout. I would not mix and match.
Do you have gas or electric?
Well, I didn't know if you would know that. No, I'm sure you'd know that. I was going to ask, how do I find out? Who do I call to find out?
Find out what, dear?
If I have a gas line or not, because now I have an electric stove.
Oh,
but I
you probably
don't know if I have a gas line or not.
Well, do you have gas heat? What kind of heat do you have?
I'm sure she does.
Probably gas. Listen, it might be too hard to retro. Here's how you can find out. Look underneath.
Okay.
Look underneath your stove. And see if you see a black pipe in there that's capped off, that's not being used.
Or if the basement's not finished, you can look underneath there, and if you have gas lines, then you can run a gas line to the stove.
Or get induction. Induction is wonderful if you don't have gas.
What's induction?
Induction is you get special pots, and your stove surface interacts with the pot, and there's no waste of energy, and it heats up whatever in the pot.
Oh my gosh, I never heard of that. Okay.
Yeah, but I think if you're used to electric, just get electric. You can get a flat top electric that looks beautiful.
Okay. That's what I kind of want to do, but I have several friends who insist that I get gas. 'Cause
Well,
they
a lot
love
of
the
chefs
gas.
and a lot of foodies, they like gas. They like that immediate response. They like that more control. They like the simmering. They like all of that. There's a few more BTUs, but really there's a lot of waste. I mean, but there's something about gas when people are used to it, they're used to it. And Jody, who's doing your kitchen?
I haven't picked out anybody yet.
Well,
I don't
here
know.
you go, Genesis.
I was going to go to that Marv's.
Here, do somebody on our referral list, Jody, so you're not calling us back with problems. I'm serious. I'm not kidding. We have some really good people on there. And Genesis, he'll do a kitchen, right? You'll do kitchens, right?
Yeah, I got Jacqueline. She does all my kitchens.
Yeah.
So, yep.
And he does a really good job with kitchens. And then we have other people on the referral list. But please, referrallist.com. Not doing it. And then having problems.
DuckDuckGo Traffic Center.
DuckDuckGo.
Sponsored by Circle K.
Toaster oven.
I-25
Way more
is
convenient.
delayed right now
Sushi.
southbound, making your approach to Castle Pine Parkway.
Now you got the.
All right, so here's an example of what's going on with the window. So here's what they said. You ready?
Yeah.
See, this is why I'm done with this. Here's her 8-year-old kid opening the window. And I guess this is a problem.
What's the problem?
I don't know, because he's got to try too hard. Look.
It's a big window, and that's about what it should be.
Okay,
But some of them are counted.
no, but look,
right?
now it's coming down.
Now it's coming down on some, but yeah, that's an adjustment.
That's an adjustment for sure.
They've been out there like 10 times.
Nice, we just can't make happy, right?
And
Can you
save
send me that?
at Circle K with their new drink subscription. Enjoy
There's another one.
more fountain drink every day.
I mean, these are just the new ones. I mean, they have sent me 5,000 videos.
Circle K. Take it
Send me
easy.
the best one. Law.com. Keep that in mind. And I'll give you a phone number as well where you can ask any question you want about estate planning free of charge. BlakeHarrisLaw.com. And I'll give you that number. Here's the important part. It's all about protecting yourself, not just passing things on and having your wishes fulfilled, but protecting yourself from lawsuits and creditors. 1 in 4 people will be sued. Some will lose their assets. He can protect them and protect your heirs through their lives. BlakeHarrisLaw.com, 833-ASK-BLAKE. He can do a trust or a simple will. He can do a payable on death certificate or maybe a beneficiary's deed for a house. BlakeHarrisLaw.com, 833-ASK-BLAKE.
Last Halloween, a new podcast scared us all to the bone. Now, 13 days of Halloween.
White stainless.
What's that?
White stainless is just...
I don't even understand it. Why would you put the nice metal under the white stain?
Somebody says they don't know if it's a gas or electric stove.
No, she didn't say that.
No, I
No,
think somebody here said that. She knows what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
She just didn't know if she could bring a gas line to it easily. I wouldn't convert it. I love that induction.
Over 40,000 happy customers. Repipe in just 1 to 2 days at half the cost of a plumber with a lifetime guarantee. So say goodbye to leaks once and for all. Enjoy a pipe leak-free home and eliminate the risk of potential water damage. Call us today for your free in-home estimate. We'll even take 20% off our already low price and receive 0% interest when you call today. 720-57-0086.
You know, I can find nothing at all called white stainless steel. Not one thing. I can't find one thing called white stainless.
I've never heard of it.
Not one thing. I looked all over.
I don't even know why you would cover up stainless steel.
That's what I don't understand.
Stainless made for nothing to stick to it.
There's not one.
There's just white. Oh, here's a white quartz sink.
Right. No, I don't see anything called white stainless steel. I don't even know what she's talking about.
Oh, I thought you're the one that said it.
No, I said it's probably just steel with the
Okay.
finish.
They really do have you.
Yeah, and I'm going, why wouldn't you just do plastic then?
Payment assistance, and let's not forget low monthly payments. It is a no-pressure experience.
Granite Composite's a nice thing.
They never charge upfront or hidden fees. So what are you waiting for?
I wouldn't do a Granite. Like Ferguson's over in Santa Fe has a really nice display room. Of what? Just all kinds of.
It's huge.
Yeah, it used to be at Nick and Billy's or Rick's.
It's like an arcade horse racing place.
Used to be.
It's massive. Massive. They have all kinds. They have some really high-end shit, too. I ordered my ovens through them.
So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief.
I stay out of the appliances.
Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. And everybody knows this program.
Denver Water does not have lead in its water.
Yeah, it does.
Some of the older homes have lead in the water pipes that run from the water meter into the house. In other words, the property owner's water pipes. You can contact Denver Water's Public Affairs to verify this.
We got a letter.
And hopefully make that correction.
We got a letter from Denver Water.
Your hard work and savings toward retirement.
YouTube is wondering if those remains found actually do belong to the laundry guy.
Yeah, they must. We don't know yet, though. DNA will tell. And they're not saying just bones, they're saying remains.
Right. Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. Nick is with Gravina's, and he is on to Gravina Windows. He's on to talk about this. Nick, according to Mark, you guys have been out there a lot trying to help and trying to adjust these. From some of the videos I've seen, the window looks like it's a little hard to pull up, and then while it's up, it kind of comes down and hangs open like halfway, and it seems like a balance. Or are these balanced with weights or counterweights or anything? Whatever it is, it doesn't seem major, but Paul is very upset about it. And Mark says basically there might be a few issues, but it doesn't seem like it's got to be the end of the world. What do you think, Nick? Oh, that's why he called. That's why he called. No, that's why he called. If today is the, I wondered what prompted the call today. You sent a balance too. How much? Paul, is that what prompted the call?
No, what prompted the call is the lack of response from...
Why didn't you call yesterday? There was a lack of response. The day before there was a lack of response. Last week there was a lack of... I'm just curious. Really, I am.
I've been trying to be patient. Like, this has been going on for a year and a half.
So the day he sends the balance due, you decide to call. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm saying let's address the issue. You're saying all 9 windows still have a problem. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And they've been out there how many times, Mark? 10 times? or whatever, multiple times.
And the manufacturer.
Let's revisit this and see what we can do. We're running out of time, but let's do it. People, if you're looking for great deals and consumer information, 303consumer.com.
Greenberry.
Healthy cereal for your family.
This is unbelievable.
What's that?
This thing with what's going on? I mean, with this thing.
It's been going on for so long. Like I said, man, I literally have wiped my hands of it. The two of them are made for each other. How's that? Not as bad as the drunk guy you had one time. The guy that would leave me fucking messages at 10 o'clock at night or at 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
He was a fucking, and he'd be so plowed. He doesn't even try to hide that he's drunk.
Right, and then the next day, I didn't know I said that.
Well, one time he actually told me, I didn't leave you a message. I said, well, that's funny. You want to hear you? He was a piece of work, dude.
Oh, fuck, I got several.
This is your chance to win $1,000 on KHOW Denver.
That's why I want to do more and more solar. I hope to convert it completely to that. So, about next year or so.
Say it again.
I'd like to, just switch over to all solar. If I get this, it's starting to take off. It takes a while to get your pipeline going. But if it continues going like it is, then I'll stop the other stuff.
Now, we already knew that.
I'm going green.
You said that before, actually. It's not just that, man. I mean,
It's just fucking old.
it's just, he's more of the, really more of the salesman. I mean, that's really how you look at it. I mean, you got to take all the complaints and all the issues.
Attending 10th anniversary commemorations.
And there's no doubt that is where it's going, dude.
The CDC is reviewing FDA recommendations on.
Once batteries get cheaper, smaller, that'll be it, man. I mean, I bet electric companies got to be fighting this at some point.
Yeah, but you're always going to need them.
Yeah, no doubt.
They are going to remain as the infrastructure.
You're going to get paid to move energy from your house when you need it, when you don't store it.
If you're in Vegas and you head to LA, whatever that highway is, I think it's 40. But as soon as you get out, 15. Right before you get out of Vegas into California, over on the right, there is probably
that big circle solar farm.
the more I've never seen. So I thought they were solar panels. They're not.
They're reflectors.
They're reflectors, and I'm talking. Oh my God, probably 100 acres of them, maybe even more. It's unbelievable.
There's a tower.
When the sun hits them, it reflects to the towers, and the towers create the energy. It is so massive, though. I mean, how big do you think it is?
I think it's
5 miles?
probably 4 or 5 miles across.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. It's just like as you're heading that way, you see it, and you're like.
So there's mirrors on the ground that take the sunshine and point them directly at the towers. So, I mean, probably a million of them. There's some kind of water or something in them that heats up and then
Then when
creates
you
the
get
energy.
to where you can actually see it,
It's like a thermal dome. It's
huge.
It's in Las Vegas. It is
comes
so
up and
big.
goes
It's
over there. I'll
crazy.
just move and keep that stuff hitting up on that tower.
That's what's cool is those things move all day to aim them at the towers.
They
And
follow
that's generating electricity for casinos or just for Vegas or who knows?
I don't even. It could even be for California, for all I know. I don't know who uses the tower.
It's just wicked.
I've never seen anything so big though, and I thought they were panels, and I'm going, holy shit. And then you guys might have driven this sometime. We used to go out to this lake house every summer in Wisconsin, and somewhere on the way from Colorado to there, we'd pass these wind farms, man.
Oh, yeah.
Where they would have, I mean, they'd go on for 60, 70 miles.
Go up and you drive to Texas, you see them just forever.
Holy moly, man, they're huge.
Yeah.
you imagine working on one of those up there? Oof.
I was getting kicked like 100 of them are moving, and they got 2 or 3 that just sit still.
Yeah, that are moving. It's like, did they lock up inside?
Right, are they broken, or is there something going on?
And they're so big, I mean, they barely got to move to create a lot of power.
Right.
I think the same thing. Then I've also thought, what's one thing that never goes away? The fucking waves. So why wouldn't they have something in the ocean? Whether the tide's in or out, you always have water moving.
I think there is something. There is.
They have a new design,
It's
underwater
perpetual.
thing, and they put one in somebody's channel, so it generates power when the when the low tide and generates power at high tide.
Yeah, exactly.
Whichever way the water is going through it, this puppy is spinning.
It's one of the few things in this world that's perpetual. It's always going to be moving.
What is?
The waves,
The ocean.
ocean. So instead of relying on wind, why not rely on something that's always moving?
Yeah, it goes back and forth, but because the wind does stop.
Oh man! MR
sun
says
does too.
that PETA wants that tower shut down because it cooks birds when they fly through.
Oh, it's true. It does. I read that actually.
Sure. Gee, there's your fried chicken.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine how hot that fucking? You got 9,000 mirrors, if not 1 million mirrors, all focused on one spot. Anything flew. A human would fry.
The clock goes through. It rains birds.
Just think that, yeah, the bird comes down, the feathers are off, is it cooked off, it's cooked, ready to go.
It'd be instantly too, man.
You get like a bug zapper, bird zapper.
Yep.
Man, I fell in the hallway out here.
Your legs locked up?
Man, I got rug burn. Looked like I've been on my knees. This shit's dead.
You got to get your back fixed, bro.
Yeah, I do.
Just do it.
Flat fees on everything. Paralegal.com or 303-429-6200.
I didn't realize that's the Mojave Desert.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's like, holy shit.
It's already hot. It's already dry.
Yeah, that's what it's called. It's called a solar thermal plant.
They've already lost Hopper. I think he's under the tower.
5 square miles. 5 square miles. It costs $2.2 billion. It's owned by NRG. It produces 400 megawatts a year. It's enough power for 140,000 homes. Larger projects of the same around the way.
Power those casinos, yes.
We were there the last day they shut down in March of 20. COVID, literally the airport was shutting down. We happened to have a flight out the last day. The airplanes were running. All the casinos were in the wind. Dude, lights off. They go into what you said. It was crazy. No sports books, no table games, slot machines off, no sounds. It was like a ghost town, man. Wow. I'd never seen it before in my life.
Gonna help the common man.
This is the Troubleshooter Show. Now, Tom Martino.
Hi, Tom Martino here, 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. Welcome to the only show of its kind anywhere in the universe. Frank Duran, therealestateman.com will do free market valuations of your home. What is that? That's where he values your home based on what it will sell for on the open market, not just an appraisal. Most homes are selling for more than an appraisal. Frank does a detailed report free of charge. There is no obligation. And it's detailed pictures, measurements to give you either peace of mind, or maybe you want to stay where you are, or maybe you want to move somewhere. Frank Duran, therealestateman.com, 303-920-1622, free market valuations. When we dropped off here, we were talking about windows. Now, Mark seems disgusted with this problem he's been handling, and I don't. Paul bought these windows in the middle of last year, and has not been happy with them. And we could see in one video where it looked like it was a little off as far as the balance, pulling up the window, and then it would tend to drop to maybe half open on its own.
And that was sent today.
Nick
That's
says
the problem going on right now.
And Nick says, well, I thought we addressed the balance problems. And then have we been able to get a hold of Ted anywhere because he looked at them too? That's too bad. In any case, I guess I'm not sure what to do because he's unhappy. He's totally unhappy. Paul, what are the and again, the Nick sent the invoice today, and that's when you called. You said you reached your limit. You had no response. Marx is saying it's unfair to say you had no response because they've been out there more than once. Why are you saying you had no response, Paul?
No, I've sent multiple emails to Gravina's explaining the problem. So the thing that you need to understand, they've replaced the entire house after they replaced the entire house once, and they replaced.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me they put in all new windows 3 times?
No. All windows 2 times. The bottom 3 big windows 3 times.
How do you call that no response? I mean, I'm sure there's problems. I don't know why the hell this has to happen, but
it's the same problem. Like,
God, Nick, you guys have at Gravina's windows, you guys have lost a ton of money on this job. If you've done all of the windows twice and then the bottoms the 3rd time, what the hell's going on, Nick?
Was it the manufacturer picking up the tab those times, Nick?
No, not at all. It's just part of what we do. I mean, it was during COVID. I don't know if they were having, labor or, issues up there, but we didn't replace the full windows. We replaced a lot of the sashes because of the sizing. The windows we put in his home are one of the most energy efficient windows on the market. So there's not a lot of room for error where some of the lower line windows have a lot more slop in them. So these ones you don't have very much margin to, and they were tight. So we were downsizing them a little bit here and there to make them close and lock easier for them, stuff like that, but where they still will seal. So it wasn't we replaced the whole frames. It was a bunch of sashes, and we just kept replacing them to make them happy. On August 3rd, the last time we were out there, maybe we were out there on August 3rd, but I sent an email to Paul and I believe Mark, where my guy said, I think the windows operate fine. They lock and seal well. I believe everything is in good shape. Paul, do you think anything else needs to be done at this point? ? And we have not had a reply in 6 weeks. So, that's why I prompted to send an invoice today.
Paul, what did you spend on this job?
$22,000.
Okay.
Why didn't you respond when he asked 6 weeks ago?
I believe we made a phone call and stated, I didn't respond through email, but I believe we did make a phone call and stated, hey, this is still not right. And what gets really muddy is when the service tech is on site, he says, yeah, it's not perfect, but we're at least getting better. I'm like, okay, and I'm trying to be patient and not, blow it up. But
I'd be irritated too, man. Paul, there's no doubt about it. I'd be irritated. They had to replace the sashes or whatever he said multiple times in some windows and hardware. Then it's during COVID. I remember at one point it was hard for them to get certain parts for certain windows. I get it, but now can we at least say we're to the point where that one window, that's it? That's the only issue left, is that one window your kid was opening in the video falls down a little. If they get that adjusted, is it that one window? He's saying not one of the windows is operating properly. Is that what you're saying?
No. Yeah, and it depends on the weather too. When it goes hot, cold, they change. So one day you can open them without issue, and then the next day, I mean, it's 80 pounds of pressure to open and close the windows.
Nick, you guys been out there, and you replaced them. You're obviously trying to make them happy. I mean,
Mark, you've installed 1 million windows. What do you think, man?
I mean, I'm taking these are vinyl windows, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and so you're going to have that with the temperature changes and such. You have expansion and contraction. It's the level window that you got, and a whole house 22,000. I mean, it's you're not getting the most expensive, greatest window in the world either.
What do you mean?
Well, again, if we just did a house right now, and 30 windows, and it's $100,000. Again, the quality of the window is completely different, and you got a vinyl window that expands and contracts, and it's all saying it's colder. Well, then it's working great. Well, you don't need your window open then anyways. And it's hot, then it's all expanded, and all of a sudden it's sticky, and then it goes up, and okay, it fell down some. So that's.
But what if you can't close and lock the window? Isn't that somewhat of a security risk?
Yeah,
for sure.
Nick, what do you want to say? Nick with Gravina's, we appreciate you being on. What do you think's going on?
Yeah, and I want to say he's always been responsive on
No, I know that. We appreciate it, Nick. What is going on?
I thought we were pretty much done until today. He did send a video today. The one with the sun opening or trying to close the window, that was from I think probably a couple months ago, and my tech has been up there since. And when he was up there, I asked him, I said, hey, what was up with that one? He's like, Paul didn't even show me that one.
Has Paul paid you any money at all?
Yeah, no, he's paid me probably about like 95%, I think. But, again, with the one he sent today, the locks are going above the keeper, which usually it's an operation error because on the double hungs, Mark probably knows, my tech has showed him, you got to kind of press up the top and then close the bottom. And every time my tech's been up there, he's showed Paul, hey, with these windows, because they are so tight, here's the best way to close them. And, he had a problem right away once we installed them that he didn't think they were locking. And I got my installer up there that day to do that. And yes, it's a security issue. And even in my email today, I said, yeah, we need to get it to lock. I mean, but is it operation error or is it a problem with the manufacturer? I don't think that would be a manufacturing issue with how much, off that shows.
Hey,
we
Tom,
would just need to take
pardon
a look
me.
at it.
Ted Rowland's calling in now, so
All
we'll
right,
get him on.
Hold on. Let's get another perspective. An independent who went up there and looked. 303-7.
Talk.
Oh, tile. So, picture a bathroom with, let's say it's 10 by, let's say it's 6 by 6. Tile type, not LVT. Okay? Pretty brand new tile. 3 or 4 out of, say, 30 tiles got chipped.
Hold on.
Let's talk about pain. Colorado Pain Care Sport and Spine will address it no matter where your pain on your body. Whether it be chronic, long-term, or maybe acute from an injury. I had both. I went to Colorado Pain Care. Boom. They got rid of it. They have some less invasive procedures, some more invasive procedures. They have what you need for your particular case. They have doctorate-level physical therapy, and they give you things to do on your own. It's suffice it to say, I never thought I could be helped, and they helped me. 303-GOT-PAIN. They work with all major insurance, especially Medicare and supplements. 303-GOT-PAIN. If you're looking for a loan, ideal home loans, for your next ideal home loan, there's a number of reasons I say they're ideal. One is the interest rate guarantee. If rates go down for any reason, they'll refinance you free of charge. You can call them for details, 303-867-7000. A 2-year guarantee on that, and every time you close, you get a new 2 years. Then they have credit optimization where they tweak your credit. Even though you're already approved, you may just have to pay down a credit balance or change an address or something simple to get a better credit tier and better pricing. Then they have the pre-approved loan, which is like a cash deal. That money is set aside and approved. You just have to find the house that appraises, and you have almost like a cash deal with the pre-approval. IdealHomeLoans.com. You can get started online or on the phone. You don't ever have to visit 303-867-7000.
So 3 get chipped. Okay? So the customer wants the entire thing redone compared to the company that chipped them doing something that has nothing to do with the tile. It's a plumbing company that chipped them. It's the master roofer up there. So they're offering them $1,500 to have the 3 tiles replaced by a tile person. He wants basically the whole thing redone. So I mean, what's your take?
I think you should give them the opportunity to try to replace
Exactly.
I mean, is the tile still available? That'd be another question. But now is that his fault?
They also do roof repairs. If you have old damage,
Yeah, that last tile, the ones that definitely won't be here in 30 days. Right? That way, if they screw it up, I get a whole new redo. Because they can't replace the tile. They don't.
I mean, Florida courts, they have so much closeout stuff.
You never see it again.
Then you never see it again.
Yeah, that's why you keep an extra box or something.
Oh, yeah.
Choose between an easy home sale or the best price for your home. Let me tell you about Rudy, a recent Orchard customer.
Man, it took over an hour to finally get this stuff to lock in.
He would have missed out on that extra money. But with Orchard, he got more cash at closing. Rudy's
We need the cable.
I had to defend you twice, man. I did. I defended you twice. AG he wants to call you names.
It happens.
Hey, I told him
It's happened before and it'll happen again.
Hey, it'll happen to you by yourself at home, AG.
We're going up to that new, Suzanne and I are going to spend 2 days up in Central City in that new casino tomorrow. Monarch, yeah. You been up there?
I'm there 3 times a week. We do so much work. Johnny Z's, Grand Z, the Isle.
Johnny Z sold.
I mean, I don't know if we're friends, but I know him very well.
Yeah.
And he did very well in every one of the purchases. He walked out with 88.
It's crazy.
And I still do all the work. I mean, we're in the middle.
The Grand Z's a nice setup.
I did all that. I did all that. And so across the street is the Johnny Z's. We're in the middle of doing that. That's going to be turned into a Dragon Tiger. We have a noodle, some famous.
He owns that gas station too, doesn't he, on the way up?
There's some fancy noodle restaurant in there. So the first years when we do a restaurant.
I love there's a steakhouse in the Grand Z we'll eat at Saturday. It's good, man. And for the dollar amount, it kills. It kills, man.
Where do you stay? You stay at the Monarch?
This time we're staying at the Monarch. Usually we take our bus up to the KOA there. I'd much rather do that, but they closed up. So when they used to close, you could still go up there and you just put an envelope in and pay whatever rate they want, and they keep the water and electric on. That's all I need. I don't give a shit about anything else. And then, so now they don't even allow that this year. So they closed last week.
Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app today.
Well, there.
Sports for a special.
But I'd much rather be in there than any of the hotels. So I was looking for Ameristar. It's just run down to shit, man. It's a fucking piece of shit hotel.
Yeah. I mean,
the Monarch apparently is really nice, but
I've been in those rooms. In fact, I've been able to help everybody in there. Because I haven't been work there. I worked at the lodge. Yeah.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. Let's talk to Ted. Ted is with K&H Home Solutions. Again, all we ask for Ted to do is look at the installation and the windows to see if he could find a problem. Now, this company, Paul is unhappy with the installation. This company is bending over backwards. They've reinstalled the windows twice and the downstairs 3 times, or some of them. They've been out there numerous times to adjust them, and they just can't seem to please Paul, and they don't know what to do. We sent Ted out on our own with K&H Home Solutions. Ted, what did you find with those windows?
Well, this was a while ago. You're taxing my memory here. So what we found was the sashes slid, difficultly, and I think part of that is it's just a really heavy sash because it's triple pane glass. So that could be contributing to the problem.
Okay.
The frame of the window seemed to be bowed in somewhat in the center. And I think our recommendation was to either shim the corners of the sill of the window, which might help. And if that didn't help, the window should be, for all intents and purposes, reinstalled. They'd have to release the fin, so that way they could put a screw in at the center of the lineal of the window, the part that goes up and down, to pull that back out. And therefore it wouldn't be squeezing the sash as the sash went up and down.
All right, so what is your opinion? Was it the installation or the window?
In all honesty, I think it's probably more the window than the installation. We didn't think the installation was horrible. There were a couple of things that we might have done a little bit differently, but I didn't think it was a really horrible installation overall.
Okay. Now, thank you, Ted. And by the way, Ted's not trying to make trouble for these guys. He really was looking at it objectively here. And Nick, what do you think about what you just heard? Like, what do you think? I mean, God, if the installation's good and the window, it's just a combination of triple pane and the size and all of that. Woo! Seems weird.
I do. I think it is a combination. I think once we got that list from them, Mark sent us, after you guys had sent them out, I didn't think the list was very bad. We went back up there. I think at that time I actually had my tech and my installer up there, and I think they did try to, manipulate some of the frames and run some screws and try to correct some of that stuff. And again, I think that was a couple appointments ago. Again, I mean, we do feel like we've done a lot for
Nick,
him.
let me ask you something. Nick, do you think Paul, I'm going to ask you straight up, do you think Paul was just playing you to try to get away with paying the extra $1,000? It doesn't seem like he'd go through all that trouble for $1,000. What do you think? What is your gut feeling? Do you think you can do something better?
I truthfully think he has buyer's remorse, and yes, that's what I truthfully think. I feel like we've done. I feel like we've gone above and beyond as much as possible. I feel like we've communicated. I feel like we've done everything in our power, and just nothing has ever been good enough.
And what do you think? You think he wants that $1,000 forgiven?
I do. Yeah, I think that's the reason he called today is because I sent an invoice to him.
Okay, so let's
hard to argue that's not why he called today.
That's why he called, because he got that. It reminded him, hey, this sucks. Paul, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
We can all agree they've really tried to please you. I mean, no company's going to go and replace things 2.5 times and make numerous adjustments without trying to, is it acceptable at all? Let's just say, and I'm not saying he would do it, but if he waived that $1,000, would you be satisfied? I'm not asking this because he offered it. I'm just asking out of curiosity.
Absolutely not.
You're happy to pay. You're happy to pay that $1,000 if they operate properly.
I'm happy to pay that $1,000 if I get windows that operate how they're supposed to operate. That's all I'm asking for.
Okay. So I don't know.
I've been very clear about that through my email chain that Mark is a part of, that I'm not asking for anything over the top. All I want is, this is what we paid for. Can we get what we paid for? Like, do I have to worry every single time my 11-year-old goes to close his window whether or not it's going to lock? Like, I don't understand why that's such a difficult,
and what Nick said is very true. With double hung windows, that top one slides down a little bit. You got to push that up and pull it down. I mean, it's one of the issues with a double hung window.
Which means what? It's always going to have a little...
Top pane slides a little bit.
Is it always going to do that?
I mean, again, different times, because sometimes the window's open easy and sometimes it's not. So maybe when it's...
We're talking about sheer physics is what you're saying.
Yes.
Especially with triple pane.
Yeah.
And so our climate differences.
And all that extra weight for a triple pane. You're asking a lot for that window.
But if you look in that video, like, you could not push the top up far enough or the bottom down low enough with both hands to get it to lock. So it's not there's something else going on with these.
But why hasn't that issue been brought to my attention before today?
It has been. I have an email chain stating as such.
Well, and when Carl's been up there, I asked him about that one, and he never spoke.
I have an email chain, Nick, going back with you. Depending on the weather, you cannot lock those. You cannot get the windows to seat and lock properly.
What if we fix the top sash so the top sash didn't come down?
Well, that would not be what I purchased.
He's never going to.
Well, I mean,
Paul, it's kind of, listen, we've had two experts out there and then Mark, or one expert out there. No, that's not true, because Ted brought someone out with him. And we've got someone in studio that's installed a ton. It's just kind of like, I don't know how, listen, these guys aren't on the referral list. I have no dog in this fight under any way, but how can he make you happy? Replace every single window for the fourth time?
No, that's not going to.
They're still going to do it again.
Here's the thing, though, Mark. We've already gone over this. They were on the referral list when I chose them.
Okay. Who was? Oh, okay. All right.
I don't think Gravinus has been on for a while, but that's possible. It's definitely possible.
Well, not if it was last year. It wasn't.
They weren't on last year. No.
No, they weren't. But that's neither here nor there. We're bending over backwards to try to get a satisfaction here. Nick, what are you inclined to do?
I can send a tech up there again. At this point, I just don't know if there's any pleasing, Mr. Andrews at this point. I just don't think there's a medium ground. I don't think we see eye
Nick,
to eye.
he's already said there's not. He has literally said that in this conversation. You're going to send a tech up to look at that one window. The other windows are going to do it too when the weather changes again. It's never going to end, guys.
And that's how I feel.
So what do we do?
Well, and that's how he feels. I mean, I get it. I don't know what you do. That's honestly, both of you, that's kind of why I wiped my hands of this 6 months ago.
So
and
listen,
I thought it was fixed.
What are you inclined to do, Paul? What are you inclined to do? If this is the best they can get it, what are you inclined to do?
I'm going to figure out a resolution for my problem is what I'm going to do.
Maybe a judge should be the one to figure this out, guys. I mean, honest to goodness. It's going to be sad, though. On a $21,000 deal, you each are going to be out of pocket probably $20,000 or $30,000 to bring this in front of a judge.
I don't know where to go from here, guys. This is why I reached out. This is why I was trying to be patient. This is why I was trying to not
Paul,
get it.
how many times has Nick been out? I can't say the same thing anymore, Tom. And actually, I'm going to say what I said at the beginning. I don't know what to do on this one.
The problem, Mark, is, they've been out a lot, but at the end of the day, it's the same result.
But do you understand, two people now have said, including a guy 3 feet from me, it's the nature of a triple pane, heavy window in Colorado when it gets hot and cold.
It's never going to be. There is no such thing as perfection. Now, Ted, are you Ted with K&H Home Solutions? Again, I don't want to pit companies against each other. I want the God's honest truth. Is that true, Ted? Do you somewhat sympathize saying it's the nature of the beast? Be honest, Ted.
Triple pane. Yeah, triple pane is a heavy sash. I think part of his problem was the pinching of the frame in the middle. I don't know if that's still an issue for him or not. He did mention to me when we were out there that when it heats up, it gets worse, which means the vinyl expands and contracts somewhat. So that could be contributing to it.
All right, I got to take a break. Hold on, guys. I really appreciate everyone being on. Hold on.
This is Denver.
I'm substituting things. You can mark it down now.
Now, impact traffic from the DuckDuckGo Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by SmartMath, the only 24-hour mouthwash with twice daily use. A very pleasant drive up and down I-25 right now. No problems as you work your way between C-470 and I-70. And your drive through the northern suburbs of Thornton and Northland looking really good right now. Out to the east side, your 225 drive up to full speed.
Where'd you leave it with him? What'd Ted say? Nature of the window? I didn't hear it.
He said, yeah, he said, he mentioned when it's hotter that you get the expansion. So, I mean, a triple pane window in a vinyl frame just
doesn't make sense.
It's stupid. And a triple pane never pays off. You never save enough energy for a triple pane.
For the paint, for the price. All my windows have little cranks. I turn the crank and it opens.
It's called a casement. The best windows you can put in your house is a casement.
Is that what it is?
Yes. Yep. Casement's the best window you can put in your house.
Worst I ever had, I had to adjust it on one window one time. The little thing that opens.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Silverleaf Mortgage, which is a reverse loan company that I have referred people to. I've done TV commercials for them, and I'm getting many, many great reviews and great results. People 62 and older are finding money to help support their parents, to help their parents who are in nursing homes, or some parents who want to stay in their home and get assisted living, or for whatever you need the money. Silverleaf Mortgage allows you to access your equity tax-free. It's a reverse loan. It accrues against your house. And before you say, oh, that'll never happen, you have to know something. They're designed so you almost never lose your home, ever pay taxes and insurance. And even with the interest accruing on part of the home, it's designed so the whole home in its appreciation will keep up with that or more. But no matter what, your estate or you will never have a deficiency because it's government-backed. Find out more at silverleafmortgage.com, 720-REVERSE.
On the True Crime Podcast.
Okay. You need to spend $6 grand, you're fine.
Okay, good. Because I want to do this computer before the end of the year. I need a super duper, listen to this, a super duper editor because I'm waiting for rendering times. This chip, have you heard about the M1 chip? You read about it. Everything's on board the chip. Oh.
And we were talking about the troubleshooter.
It's Intel, right?
Huh?
No, it's Apple.
Yeah. No, it's Apple. It's their own proprietary chip now. It's the first time they're departing. Now, I watched him. We were both downloading videos, and I watched this fucking guy that I use for my shooting. He has a little laptop, and I was like, what the fuck?
Are you getting a laptop?
Yeah.
What are we doing with
8
this?
terabyte hard drive.
What are we doing with this nightmare call? Are we done?
Let me kiss it goodbye.
I got Rock on too.
You know what? Here's the other thing. They said they were on the referral list. That was it. Gravinas is fucking complicated because there's two of them, and they're the same fucking family, right?
Right, they're brothers, right?
And they got pissed at each other. Well, the other one was on the referral list, but I mean, I can't expect someone to know that.
Right.
It's not my fault they both named their fucking company the exact same goddamn thing.
Well, the one that's paying for all the extra advertising, the other one's getting all the benefit because he's getting part of the business for free.
Who was the one that used to go, Venus? I think that was the father.
I think that's the father. And now it's the two boys, right?
So they're the installers? Okay. So who's the manufacturer?
I don't even know which.
Dude, there's like...
So it's whoever's extruding that vinyl and making windows for them.
Yeah, so basically they'll take, even Mark or anybody, I don't care, K&H, they'll take the design they want and then send it out to a manufacturer and they'll build it to that spec. Yeah, so and then you can call it a custom window.
Hey.
Yeah. Well, what about for resale and inspections and stuff? Are those windows going to be an issue if they get inspected?
If you saw the video, when he sent me that video, that was the problem today, I just fucking shake my head.
Okay, so
it's
you
a
think
kid
that
opening the fucking
you
window.
think the customer is being, like, picky?
Yeah, he's
Why aren't
definitely
you saying that? Because all you're saying on the air is, I can understand your frustration.
I
I'm
have said,
frustrated
have I
too.
not said that? Am I crazy?
You haven't said, dude, you're being fucking picky. Well, picky. There's no making him happy.
You're not
Let's
paying
kill
attention
Paul.
because I have said that.
Let's just kill him. All right.
Literally.
Not literally, YouTubers. I don't want to go to jail.
Trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board.
I do feel bad, guy.
The right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com.
That's why I wiped my hands of it 6 months ago.
Tom,
I stayed out of their emails.
Ted Rowland just texted. He wants to make a suggestion on the air.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Tell her to get that lady back up. If Rock's on, get the lady back up. The meth lady.
Yeah. Hey, Suze, when you see this expense, let's suspend it for a minute because I may transfer it to one of our other entities when I get paid and write it off under one of those. Or my corp, whatever it is.
Hey, Jay Brett just said. What am I going to say?
ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Joe Slayer says he just buys a lot of saran wrap for his window.
Quadruple pain. Now I'm getting emails and texts from just listeners. Pamela Bell says, just tell the guy you get what you pay for. Windows in this state are hard to pick properly. Ceiling fan chain for light broke inside. Needs to be replaced or repaired.
That's easy to repair. I've done them before.
Don't they unscrew?
Yeah, but not just that. The whole house, the whole housing comes out, and that chain is connected on the inside. It's easy if you know what you're, obviously.
She just needs a handyman.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. That's fan number one. Fan number two, because of intense wobbling, popping, and sparks.
Hi, I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. All right, so basically, I want to just basically sum this up. Gravina's Windows installed a house full of windows for Paul. They did it twice, and then a half of it again, and then been out there several times to adjust. Paul's still not happy with the way they operate. They're large windows, large panes, triple pane. They're heavier. They have a few issues here and there. Even our guest today, our guest today, which is Genesis Total Exteriors and also Genesis Solar. He does a lot of home improvements. He says, look, this can happen. And what you do is you try to have a happy medium because of the weather changes and the weight of the glass. Ted Rowland says it doesn't look terrible. Look, it's a pretty good installation, and maybe it's just the nature of the window, and we don't know what to do. So Ted has a suggestion, and then we're going to cut Ted loose with K&H Home Solutions, by the way, 303-421-7100. They're on our referral list at referralist.com. Go ahead, Ted.
So I don't know, I haven't been involved in this in a while, but has someone from the manufacturer come out and taken a look at the windows to check the installation to see if everything's operating correctly? And I'm not talking about the sales rep from the manufacturer, but somebody in operations, an engineer.
All right, let's find out. Has someone from operations, Nick, gone out and looked at it?
Not from the manufacturer, no.
Okay. Do you think that might help you?
Who are you talking to?
I mean, Nick, do you think having somebody maybe from, what do you think?
We can. This company, is out of state. I mean, we can try to facilitate that. I know that they really, during COVID and stuff too, that, they weren't allowed to fly and everything. I would assume that would be lifted at this point.
Hey, Tom?
Yeah.
Eric, a caller, suggested that Nick give Paul all his money back, take his windows back, and tell him to go take his business elsewhere.
Yeah, but, man, that's a loss. That's a big loss. Man, they've done it so many times, but that's one way to do it. Nick, Ted, I appreciate, by the way, you coming on and trying to help out. And Nick, listen, maybe really somebody from engineering with the manufacturer can even do a FaceTime with you or something. I would say, other than that, you're not going to make Paul happy. And by the way, Paul, I'm not trying to paint you as some nut here, just so you know that. I'm really not, without me seeing and feeling for myself. But I have 3 window experts, one, of course, who's biased. They sold it to you. But I have 2 others who are independent saying these are not unusual situations and not the end of the world.
Maybe Gravina should have explained some of these downsides to a triple pane.
But they can be made to be a little better than that one. But that one, Paul, it doesn't seem fair. Nick said that video you sent us of your kid doing that window was a while ago.
That was a while ago, and they did correct they did correct that issue. The video I sent today is the video of my son's room not being able to close and lock.
Okay. Do you think, Nick, that issue about not being able to close and lock, Nick, do you think that is operator error? Just say it straight. Do you think so? We'll never accuse you of being uncooperative, Nick. I want your honest opinion.
I do. I think my tech has showed him several times how to close the windows, and I think if that window hasn't locked for the last year, why is this, an issue now? I mean, again, I think we've showed him. I think it is the functionality of a double hung window. And, again, we have no problem if we got to go up there and look at it again.
What if you grease the windows? Do they close easier if you grease them? God bless.
I think some Teflon spray last time, or the couple times he's been up there. We carry around Teflon spray. I'm pretty sure he's done that.
Okay, well, what we have to do, Paul, is hope that they can have somebody from engineering take a look at your videos to see if they can weigh in on it. That's where we go next. But we have to get to some other callers right now. Now, Richard, what's going on with you? Oh, hold on. I know what I want to do. I want to take a break so I can give Rock more time. Rock is with American Restoration about the meth call. Do we have the woman on yet on that meth call? If not, I wanted to ask Rock a quick question. She's not on. Hey, Rock, this woman was in a meth house, okay? It was a former meth house. And what we wanted to ask you is, she said there was some kind of a measurement done. And she rented a house, and the measurement was 40.5 for meth. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? She said it's supposed to be 0.5 or something. Does that make sense to you, Rock? Okay, he's not there. Let's take a break. We'll come right back.
Did you guys see this video?
Mark, what's your zip? What is going on?
80116. These kids came in to rob this gas station, and this Marine was in line. Watch him take the gun from the guy. Watch this. Bam. Then knocks him the fuck out. One gets away, I guess.
Looking really good right now. Out to the east side, your 225 drive up to full speed.
He does it like it's nothing. I mean, like he's done it 100 times.
Yeah, and if you watch what was going on, the dumbass kid was trying to point the gun around him. Did you see that?
Yeah. He was a teenager for sure.
Yeah, you figure you got a Marine who is trained, and you got a kid that has no knowledge except to pull the trigger.
Help DEA keep our communities safe and healthy. Take Back Day, October 23rd. Find a collection site near you.
Oh, there was 3 of them.
TakeBack.com. Do your part to lower overdose
deaths. He was booked into Yuma County Juvenile Justice. He's a little kid.
Rocky Mountain IV Medics. Suze, I want to call them for next week because I'm going to need them early. Anyway, I use them once a month. I use them right here in the studio. You can have them at your home. You can have them at your office. We even have some truckers who stop by and have them at the truck stop. You can have IV therapy for whether you're dehydrated, maybe you have a hangover, or seriously a migraine. You could have COVID and need help getting over the hump, whatever it is. It's a common therapy. And, a lot of people go to these IV bars. You don't have to pay a dime more, and you can have it right done at home, RockyMountainIVMedics.com. You call or text this number. You can get same-hour appointments sometimes, 720-987-2155, 720-987-2155.
Oh my God, this guy has literally already sent me another email.
Which one? Oh, Windows, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2.
Tom, I have her scheduled for a week from Monday. Is that okay, or do you want me to reschedule her for next week? She's coming in about 10 days.
She's coming in.
I already had her scheduled for you.
Yeah, that's fine.
But if you want her in next week, I can. You sure?
I mean, yeah,
it's fine.
Okay.
They will refinance you free of all lender fees. Then they have the pre-approval. That means that you get pre-approval.
I don't even know what I have no answer for a guy that's never going to be happy. If every time it gets hot or cold, if that window's going to change a little bit.
It's like that one that